Well, hello and welcome to anyone who's catching this or catching this after the fact. I hope that life is good and you're relaxed. For me, the last, let's see, I'm getting notifications. You're sending a stream that is configured as the correct stream. Okay. We're going to start off right off the gate with technical issues. Because why not? Wouldn't you? Technical issues? Who wouldn't want technical issues? Alright, more technical issues. Okay, here we go. So... there we go. That may or may not help. Just doing some technical stuff in the background there. Hopefully it's not too blurry or terrible or awful. Yeah, anyways. Hello. So we've got the tail end of Sorcerer here. I'm just going to, let's see if I can. Oh, beautiful, wonderful, excellent. Gonna just tilt that just a tad. Okay, no tilt for me. Hope everyone's evening is all right. It's been a hectic. I got home, and you ever have one of those moments where you feel very like in a hurry, in a rush, everything's going on kind of all at once, and you're just, that's, I don't know, I came home and nothing bad or anything, it was just a thing, and then a thing, and then a thing, and then a thing, and then, oh, I'm gonna, and the energy buildup was just, I'm trying to relax. I wasn't even necessarily planning on doing this, but I need to, I need to take a breather. So if you're like me and everything's just escalating, take a breather. Take a small breather. That's what we're doing. We're just taking a breath. Taking a breather. Doing some stitching. Bumping the mic. I've been really wanting to play more Pal World. I've been super into Pal World lately. But I thought, you know... oh, I've got this like little piece of fuzz over here. Okay, okay. I thought, you know... wouldn't it be such a shame to not... I mean, wouldn't it be just great to end the week on something a little more... you know, of an accomplishment. Okay, I cannot... I need to pull this further towards me. Yoink. There we go. My project is so far away from me, I can't see what I'm doing. I can't stitch. I keep the light and the boom arm that my camera is on is practically over my head. So I keep thinking that my head's gonna pop into frame. But I guess not compensating enough for the zoom. Oh. Alright. There we go. There's one. We managed to get just one. And in fact, I'm going to cheat. Watch this. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more for you. But I'm going to do it with my computer as opposed to my phone. I'm a cheat. Okay. There we go. Just relaxing. All is good. We're not in a hurry. No, we're just going to gently do our stitches here. And get our hand caught in the thread. Like I said, it's not been a bad day. It was just a really high energy afternoon. Just one of those... like I couldn't catch my breath. Now I'm trying to catch my breath. And that was me popping my chair. Oh yeah, it's a lot better having actual back support for my chair. You know, when I first bought my Velka Potoki stand, whoops, excuse me. There we go. I was so excited and I loved it so much. And it was so expensive for a stand, but it's so beautiful. So many cross stitch stands, both lap stands and floor stands, just are not pretty. I mean, there's some that are, but so many of them are just these kind of bare wood, not even polished, definitely not stained, kind of function over form type pieces. And it was so nice and it was so good. Kind of the, there's a technical term for the thing that happens in our brains where we buy something, spend money or time or effort on something, and because we spent time and effort on it, we kind of want it to be good. And yeah, we're just gonna leave you here actually. That's kind of where I'm at, I think. I love it, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it, but the little piece on top that turns the tilts this way is so... I can barely even get my project in there. It is so loose. Loosey-goosey. Okay. So now, actually what I'd like to do is these 7s over here, because these 7s are driving me nuts. So let's see, this must be heart. And this must be plus sign. And this must be... no... the S maybe? Maybe this is the S. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's definitely the S. Okay. It's 31. And then this is that one we just did. Okay, we've caught up with ourselves mentally. I have to, like, get back into where it was. Okay. There we go. See? I kind of have to almost talk to myself like I'm a cat or something. There we go. Calm down. It's okay. Pat myself on the back. There. In case that's coming through on the mic, that is just the shower water. Hubby got home. He's taking a shower. We live in a very small house, and the room that I'm in, what we call the gaming room, which is actually just a kind of small spare bedroom that both of our desks are in. That room shares a wall with the bathroom. Which shares a wall with the master bedroom. So the bathroom is in between the two spare rooms. So with the way the piping is, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my little house. It's a itty bitty little house, but I love my little house. It's actually my first house. I've only owned it for a little over a year. It's my first house, and I've only owned it a little over a year. So, yep. This whole living on my own thing is, while not entirely new, is slightly new. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna do hop. Those are done. And we're gonna come up here. Actually don't feel like I have a whole lot to say this time. Last time I stitched, I kind of feel like I was in a mad spiral of non-stop blubbering. Wait. This time I don't feel like I have a whole lot to say. Anyone who knows me in real life would find that very terribly funny, because in real life I talk nonstop, kind of like I did last stream. All right, come on, you. I can tell you've got a little. I can feel it. I can tell you've got a little pinch in you. You've got a little knot. Oh, a wee little knot. Oh, you've got a wee little knot. All right, that's gonna be fun. It's just small enough to like be able to pull through, but it's just large enough to like actually catch every time. There you go. And I have so few stitches left of this color. I'm not gonna be buggered to do a whole bunch of shenanigans to try and get it fixed. At this point, I'm just gonna keep going. Just hear it pop every time. Pop. Pop. Sorry for bumping the mic. You know actually what I'm gonna do? Bear with. Move this mic to like here, and that should be good enough. Oh yeah, I think that'll be totally good enough. I mean, I've got this turned way down anyways, so I have this obnoxiously loud voice sometimes that like carries really bad. At least it carries real bad if you're not in my Skyrim Let's Play. If I'm in my Skyrim Let's Play, all of a sudden I have no voice at all. Several of those that was actually pre-recorded, so I kind of can't do anything about it at this point, but yeah. I keep forgetting how powerful these microphones are. Like they'll pick up really well from a distance. And then the other thing too is though, here, let me do more, maybe more like this. Because if I have it too far away from me, then the echo in the room becomes very noticeable. The walls in this room are really bare, and the echo is, I mean, at least I notice it. Okay. Oh, come here. Oh, and then there's that knot. Yep, we're just gonna kind of pull you through a little bit, maybe. Maybe that's good enough. You are tuckered out, sir. All right, I'm gonna do just a little bit of impromptu-ness. I am certain once another Stitcher sees this that they will have words of advice for me, as I am a Stitchy noob. Okay, let's see what we can do with this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay him down here. That just did not work at all. I'm gonna lay him down there. And then I'm going to kind of do it the real old school way of, as I stitch my next bits, I was hoping it would just come through even with the knot, but it didn't. So what I'm going to do is as I do the next little chunk right there in the middle, I'm going to kind of attempt to sew over the top of that tail, just as is, because it's so short. Stop sliding around everywhere. There we go. And get some tension back. There we go. So now that I've done those bad boys, I think actually, yeah, what I'd like to do is focus down these hurts, because then I can tuck that tail away. Ba-dum-bum-ba-dum. Too early. There it goes. Ba-dum-bum-ba-da-da-ba-ba-dum. Oh, so close. And this is where I stitch basically semi-sideways for a few seconds while I try to get this sorted. Oh, I almost actually got that in the right hole. That would have been so cool. Where's that tail? Can I feel that little tail? Can I grab a hold of that little tail? Little tail. There you are. Okay, so if I can kind of keep my eye on him. Grab a hold of him. Let's see. I'm having a hard time grabbing a hold of him. He's slippery. Okay, don't let go. There we go. I've got my little tail. So now I can just on the upside. The downside. I just basically try to sort of pull it in a direction that's kind of opposite to where that next up is going. So I'm gonna go. So I'm holding it kind of in an upward motion, and the main reason I'm doing that is I'm trying to guarantee as much as I can that it's in the right direction so that it's actually getting sewn over. Throwing me off though. 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course I've got extra fabric. Giving me gruff on the side there. Do you ever have stitches like that? My fellow stitchers, let me know. Do you ever have those times where you sit down to stitch and it just feels like every little piece of anything is not cooperating with you, and it's almost like you're just not meant to stitch at that particular time? Like anyone else kind of experience that? And then there's other times where you sit down and it's just in out, in out, in out, in out, like it's just so smooth. You just go, 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 and everything's perfect, and the tension is perfect, and everything is just smooth. Kind of like that last row, actually. Yeah. Part of me wonders if I should have shorter threads. Because my full-length threads, I think that's when I experience the most awkwardness. Okay, let's mark this off real quick. Was in a conversation with the wonderful Miss Karen Needlebug of the Needlebug. Check her out. And talking about Pattern Keeper versus Markup. Markup is a lot better than I gave it credit for. I had originally, like, way a long time ago, I had downloaded it and tried to stitch with it, and oh my goodness, my thing is so off. Come here, come here. We're gonna center you again. There you go. I had downloaded it and it was like clunky, unsmooth. It was like jittery. Like when I tried to move the pattern about, it would jitter, and almost like frame rate issues, for lack of a better term. I mean, that's probably exactly what it was. And just, I don't know. I was really not, I just went bleh, and I got rid of it. And I can't remember if that was actually before I was using Pattern Keeper, right around the time that I got Pattern Keeper. So, it was a long time ago, all that to say. So, I know she talks about it in her videos a lot, and so we were talking about it, and I was like, what the heck? And I just downloaded it on the spot. And, ooh, this is gonna be very close. And, oh my goodness, I did not give it enough credit. It was a lot better than I thought. That was so not the right hole. Oh, and I messed up twice. Go figure. Come here, you. We're gonna do that right this time. Yeah, so sorry. Yeah, I did not give it enough credit. It's actually pretty good. But it's also like, I don't know, I really like Pattern Keeper. What started the whole topic of conversation between the two was the whole thing that Pattern Keeper does where, So like if I do a bunch of stitches, so right now I've done 32 stitches. Okay. So if I then go to stitch more stitches tomorrow. So today I write in a log somewhere, let's say an external log. I write 32 stitches because that's what I did today. And then tomorrow I do 50 stitches, right? Because that's what I did that day. And then on the third day I go back and I'm doing more stitches and then I suddenly catch a mistake and I end up having to frog. So like, let's say I was doing this bit right now, and then I came up and then I did this bit. And then like, let's say it's day 3 and I'm up in here and I'm coming back around and all of a sudden I make a mistake that was further down that pushed everything off. Oh, okay, I'm going to frog this. And then I'm going to stitch up again. Well, when you frog the stuff that you did 2 days ago, Pattern Keeper takes the stitches done. Like when you frog it, it takes it from the day you did it. So what happens is, instead of I did 32 stitches now and then that number dropping down, what it does is the number from 2 days ago drops down. But if you're adding it into an external log day by day by day, the log for that day is still going to say 32. You know, you're not going to necessarily know that you need to go back and adjust that number. What happens is you end up getting a total when you're using a log. You end up with a total done stitches that don't match at all. It gets everything off and inaccurate. So we're talking about it because I guess markup is much more accurate. And I haven't tested it yet. And Karen's used the program. I really haven't. So I can't speak to this, but I love that I got that in the exact right spot. Yay. My theory is that it actually works the same, but you don't notice it because in markup, there's an info page where it tells you, this is how many you have left, and this is how many you did today. Oops, I need to go back and fix it real quick. Yep, I need to fix both those guys real quick. I ran you, didn't I? Yeah. Did I? Yeah. My theory is that it actually kind of does the same thing. It's just when it displays those main stats, like here's how many you have left to do, it adjusts that number. But I haven't, and they have markup has a calendar in there too, so it actually tells you how many you did on each day. So I don't know if what it does is it takes the stitches, the frog stitches out of the day you did them, but since the calendar is in the same app, it's not an external log, it's not an external column, you're not notating the number of stitches you did each day on that day, the app is doing that for you. So if I did 32 stitches today, and 2 days from now I frogged a couple of them, inside that app, I'm wondering if I went into the little calendar and went back, it would then say 30 instead of 32. Like, I'm wondering if it calculates them the same way. It's just when you click on that day, it's going to give you the correct number. And how many, you know, because the app has all of that same information that you would typically be logging. So yeah, that was just, I haven't tested that yet, but part of me wonders, because the only time it becomes a deal breaker in Pattern Keeper, it really doesn't matter that you do your stitches that way, or that it calculates that way, because the total done off to the side is still accurate. At least that's been my experience ever since I've been using it, is that at the end of the day, as long as I've actually marked off every stitch that I have actually stitched and I didn't, miss any, then it gets to 100% when I'm actually done. And it kind of almost made me sad, because here's this program that does all the same things that I built a whole Notions suite to do, the calendar and this and that and the logs, everything I put up in that one video that I made, which is even still received a small touch up here and there, but for the most part it's the same as that video. All of that I did, and then here's this app that just does it for me and has off-brand version of Pattern Keeper in it, combined into what? Aw, how crazy is that? It was all that work for nothing. I got a little sad, I admit. And then, but I was going through it because I was like, man, why even? Because of the info page and how powerful that potential tool is, you know, why even bother with Notion? Why not just use markup all the time? Well, it turns out there's actually kind of two main reasons. One main reason is my Notion is actually, in fact, shared with my sister. And so all of our stuff is being tracked on the same page and we can see each other's stuff, which is fun, which that app wouldn't let us do. It turns out my sister, I was asking her about it and she kind of put into words what I was already feeling but couldn't vocalize very well, which is the fact that that information screen is marvelous. It's wonderful. I absolutely love it. Pattern Keeper, get your stuff together and get an info page like that one. But that info page, as nice as it is not really what I'm there for. You know, that's not what I'm doing minute by minute. That's not the majority of my experience with it. I'm only checking on it every so often, sure, but the main whole point of the app is the pattern and marking off my stitches. And we both came to the conclusion that that portion of the markup app was not as great for us. Not that it's bad in any way, it's just we genuinely liked Pattern Keeper's interpretation of moving around a project and marking stitches off and pinching and zooming, and just there's the whole thing in terms of actually using it when you're stitching for us is just a little bit more comfortable. For one, more practiced, but two, we just tended to like Pattern Keeper a little bit better in that regard. Yes, it lacks a lot of the customization methods. You know, in markup, I can go and I can change my grid thickness and I can change my grid color and I can change this and I can change this and I can, it's better at importing projects from like paper, which I bet a lot of stitchers really need. It can actually read key pages, so you don't have to input all of the numbers one by one, which is amazing. Like, it has all these wonderful features that I really wish Pattern Keeper had in its Pattern Keeper-y way. But that core experience of, you know, marking off a stitch, highlighting all of the stitches of a certain color, and marking those off, moving around, highlighting a new stitch, like that core experience of just the actual stitching, for me personally, is actually better on Pattern Keeper. And since that is the main course of the meal and everything else is really appetizers, at least for me, because I have PDF patterns, the only pattern I have that's paper is my Mirabilia, which I use an entirely different method that involves neither Pattern Keeper nor, totally different method for me for anything that will be paper going forward. So because I only use Pattern Keeper for PDFs, and since I have a tablet that lets me pull up two apps side by side, I can pull up Pattern Keeper and the PDF key page side by side, and I just blip, 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 and I type in all the numbers, and I type in the numbers as I'm kitting it up too. So it's kind of an all-in-one process for me. So I go into Pattern Keeper and I'm like, okay, the heart is 154, grabs the 154, puts it on the ring, or whatever. So because of that part, I'm already doing it anyways. I'm not really, yes, I'm saving myself, but I'm not really saving myself. So like the features that markup has in that way are wonderful bells and whistles. But bells and whistles will only get you so far when the engine of the car or the main course of the meal, like dessert and appetizers are great, but if the main course is kind of like, meh, okay, then versus a non-12 course meal that only has one main meal, but it's delicious and amazing. I feel like that's kind of a better analogy for comparing the two. Pattern Keeper lacks a lot of the bells and whistles, but that core central component that is like the whole reason I even have the thing is for me personally better in Pattern Keeper. So it was just an interesting way to look about it. And she, like I said, my sister is the one who really, we were both kind of feeling that same way, but she's the one who could put it into words and actually clarify that and say like, this is what it is. And my sister is actually smarter than she thinks she is. Sometimes. And then sometimes she has her moments, like we all do. My sister is 5 years younger than me. And has legitimately made me feel absolutely stupid on plenty of occasions. She's actually the very definition of wickedly smart. She's smart, but she's wicked about it. She's wickedly smart. And there have been plenty of times where she'll say something and I'll just sit there and blink, blink, blink. I mean, I might not be the sharpest tool in the shed, but I'm not dumb either. I'm actually fairly intelligent in my own right, but my sister makes me feel dumb sometimes. Okay, let's see. What are you? Can you 336. That's okay. My husband does the same thing too, to be honest. We all know that as the wife, most of the time, I'm right. As is the natural flow of things. But I gotta tell you, there's actually plenty of times where I'm all kinds of rah, 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 this and that, and he just looks at me and he'll just say like a few words, and I'm just like blink, blink. And I feel really dumb in that moment. In those moments. The good news is that I've been able to do the same thing to him once or twice, or a few times. I think we've pretty much we quit tallying because I think we're kind of split. No, he's actually really, really smart. Sometimes too smart, I think. Alright, thank you, Cross Stitch, for successfully getting me to calm down and have a laugh. I feel better now. I hope whoever's following along feels better too. If you had a stressful day, or a nervous day, or anything of the like, or a sad day, may your day be none of those things any longer. As we sit and stitch and chill and get remarkably close to a finish. I mean, I wasn't planning on doing this all night, but at this point, if I don't just keep going till I finish, it'll be a travesty. I mean, really. Oh, that's my cat, in case she comes through on the mic at all. She likes to pop into my streams from time to time. Make herself known. Last time she walked all over my keyboard. That was great. But, you know, she's a cat. They do that. But what really made it was last stream, which was my Subnautica Saturday stream, where I did not die. Shifty eyes. In my hardcore and lose everything. That totally did not happen. But before that, she's sitting there. She was kind of potatoing between the keyboard and the edge of the desk. I had pushed my keyboard back a little bit, and she was kind of potatoing in the area where my project's sitting now. And I had a mug of green tea off to the side, and she was just sitting there totally chill and potatoed. And then kind of seemingly out of nowhere, I mean, I was gaming, I wasn't paying a ton of attention, but like all of a sudden she just kind of lifts up her head, and I kind of glanced down, and she took her whole head, like her ear, to the point of pushing her ears back against, took her whole head and shoved it into the tea mug. Like, in that split moment, she was just like, what's this? Oh, green tea, and just shoved her head full send into the tea mug. I was like, Cat, no, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? I had to like very quickly grab her or I was gonna lose my whole mug of tea because to cat tongue, it was, she tried. All right. So yes, that is her wailing in the background. She does that, but she's getting on in years. She's not as young as she used to be, and we think that her hip is bothering her, and possibly, and she's actually on a steroid medication, a type of steroid medication for GI issues. What the heck happened here? World. Okay. Well, that went differently in my head. Let's try that again, shall we? I got some fuzz cut up in there with me. Oh, and it did it again. All right, come here, you. That kind of doesn't, that doesn't work for me. Sir, I need you to not be fuzzy in that exact spot in that exact way. I need you to be clear. Okay, let's try this one more time. And is there something underneath here I should be worried about? Let's just kind of do that. There we go. And that was my fault. That was my fault. Yes? Are you gonna come up here and say hi? Like you have done before? I don't have any tea this time. I don't have any tea. Hello. Hi, come here. No, it's okay. Go, just stick your nose everywhere. If you want to get on camera, you need to get in this little spot right here, right about here. If you want to get on camera, you have to be right about there. Nope, just walk on the keyboard. That's fine. Yep. Yeesh. All right, pets for the cat. Pets for the cat. Here's your kitten. And then she runs off the desk and into her floof. It's like basically a beanbaggy type thing. We call it her floof. That was certainly not my prettiest stitch. But you know what? Once it's up on a wall in a frame, no one's gonna see the back, no one's gonna care. And I'm okay with that. There's a certain wonderful freedom in the fact that it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to, like, you know, be good enough, but... Okay, we're gonna stick this back on. I just loop, when I have enough extra to keep, I just loop it back onto the keeper. It's just really easy for me to just bloop, bloop, loop it right back onto my keeper. And I love my keepers. I love my Annie's keepers. Although I suppose anything styled like that would suffice. I do not use the project sliders. All of my keepers are exclusively only on rings. I use the storage keepers for storage, but I do not use the project sliders for like when I'm actually working. I used to, when I got my starter kit, which came with a project slider, I tried it out for a bit. That's when I was doing Lilith's Fairy. And I mean, it was okay, but the time it took me to find the color I needed on the sliders, especially when there's multiple sliders, it was like, it took me the exact same amount of time as it does on a ring, because they're in numerical order for me. Because Pattern Keeper, when you tap on a symbol to search for it, because I do cross country, so I'm searching, and it's really easy to do because I don't have to hit a separate button or anything. I just double tap, searches that, double tap, highlights that symbol. Okay, double tap, highlights the next symbol. But where I was going somewhere with that, man. I hate when my brain does that to me, but oh well. Super smooth and easy, but oh yeah, when you highlight a symbol in Pattern Keeper, up in the upper left, it just tells you the number, so I don't have to reference a key. It's, you know, right there. So I just highlight a symbol and then read the number. Okay, 209. And then I because they're in numerical order, I just pick up the ring, and it has the whatever color I was last using on it, and I just kind of immediately know. So like right now I'm on 209. So if my next one is 153, well, I gotta go to the very end of the ring. I basically flip backwards, as it were. Wait a minute, something's not right there. There we go. And if it's, you know, 311 or 310, then I know that, oh, I just got to flip forward a couple. And truthfully, by the time you get this far into a project anyways, you start getting a kind of feel for where they are. Like I can pick it up and find them pretty quickly. And then also there's some that are just certain colors. So like this project has, let's see if I can get it on camera. This project has like a few golds there in the middle, and then like 80 zillion, it feels, different versions of like the exact same shade of purple. Like there's one there, one there, one there, one there, one here, that like it has a whole bunch of just what looks to the eye to be the exact same shade of purple. So those are a little bit more difficult, but when it's like one of the gold colors, you know, when you have a ring like this, you get to a point where you can just pick up, like if I'm picking this up like this, and the camera's all zoomed in, but if I'm just picking this up like this and I'm like, oh, I need that one gold color, I can literally just pick it out like that. And I'm like, oh, look, there's 729. Or if I need black, I can literally just hold it up like this and go, oh, look, there's my black, 310 right there. And I suppose the same logic would hold true on a project slider, but I don't know. I didn't really dig the project sliders as much. So yeah, I'm starting to wonder if maybe part of my problem is my threads, like when I start, my threads are too long. I'm wondering if I need shorter threads. Part of it's because when I kit up my threads, well, a lot of these purples came off of Littlest Fairy, and when I did Littlest Fairy, I was still working on a much larger Haid, or Heaven and Earth Designs, and so I kind of had it into my head that, you know, everything I was gonna do, because at the time that I kitted this and actually put it on Keepers, I had actually already started the project, but I had moved from bobbins to Keepers, and I had a small enough stash to make that worth it. So when I, although some of them were fresh on Keepers, but oh, okay. But basically I was doing loads of background, so I was kind of in that newbie mindset of, oh, I'm doing whole blocks of the same color, better make sure my thread's nice and long. And now I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, you know, starting and stopping threads is not that hard or time consuming. I'd probably get a better experience if I had slightly shorter threads. And also my wingspan has something to do with it. So when I kit a project, I essentially take I take my skein of floss and I unwind it into the, you know, the little circle. And then I, like if this is my forearm, I'll wrap it around my forearm, and then I'll snip it at the top, and then there's my loop. But I have really long arms. So that tends to result, because I'm wrapping around my own forearm. It tends to result in these sort of longer threads. She tends to do this when I'm talking. I think she responds to my voice. So I think that's why she does this when I'm streaming, because I'm talking, and normally when I'm gaming and I'm not streaming, or if I'm sitting here and I'm not streaming, normally I'm not talking. But yeah. So my wonderful better half was kind enough to make me some sort of fluffy beverage inspired by a grapefruit citrus fresca, which is just yummy. We're gonna see if the drink is yummy. He says it's meh. I would agree. Actually, you know what? I think if it I think it just needs more of the soda. I think it's just got too much other stuff in it. I think the syrup weighs it down. We tried an experiment. Let's see. If I remember the parameters of the experiment properly, it was the grapefruit fresca, orange Jameson, and triple sec. We mainly have actually one that I will sometimes do, just because I'm a big fan of this sort of orange dreamsicle type flavor, is some inexpensive vodka and sun-kissed soda, and the vanilla syrup, like that they usually use for coffee flavorings. I forget the name of the company that makes it, but it's got like a red label, and you see they make a ton of different flavorings, and you see them in coffee shops with pumps. Well, we have the vanilla of that. So you take a splash of vanilla, a little bit of vodka, and you put it with sun-kissed orange soda, and you get this sort of like dreamsicle, orange dreamsicle, orange cream kind of flavor to it. It's really nice on like hot summer days, really refreshing. But I tend to want to do vodka in smaller amounts because I just don't handle it as well as I handle whiskey and bourbon, which are typically my mains. So like it just tends to hit me really hard. I get like terrible headaches, whereas whiskey and bourbon I can kind of, I don't know. I don't drink to the point of getting drunk very often. If I have a drink, it's because I want a flavor, or we make cocktails. You may or may not have actually heard the shaker in the background. I mean, we when we drink something, we're very like in it for the flavor and the experience. I don't drink to get drunk type stuff. But some of the more interesting or complex cocktails have vodka in them, and I don't handle vodka very well. So I love the Fresca though, and I loved the flavor of the one he made yesterday. So I thought, well, can I do it with orange? Because we have the orange Jameson, and I do like Jameson, which is an Irish whiskey, if you're not familiar. So I thought, can we do that? Can I try that? And true story, it's really not bad. It's nice and orangey and citrusy. My only thoughts on it, let's see, yeah, my only thoughts on it is that it's very possible that the triple sec weighs it down. There's not enough carbonation. There's not enough, carbonation, because the carbonation gives it the air, gives it the refreshing flavor. Snip you real quick. Okay. There we go. I don't think that's enough to keep. I probably should be more picky about keeping more of my thread and stitching longer until not leaving such long tails. And then I probably should be better about that, but I just couldn't be buggered. Okay, so we've got one more of this guy. So I've got 3 more to go. So that's 3807. 3807. The colors I can find. Picking them off the keepers sometimes. I will struggle less. Okay, here we go. I've got a super short. I don't know what a piece this short is doing on there, but well, I suppose it's not actually that short. But anyways. Shift that just a bit. Okay. We've got you set, and we're gonna do right there. Right in that corner. So basically there is some dark. So obviously all of this is done here in the center. There's some dark edging and follow-up around the outside. And at this point, if I end the stream before finishing the project, then that's sacrilege. I couldn't do such a thing. It'd be silly. Because basically, as soon as I finish the stream, I'm probably going to be done stitching for the evening. And if I leave now and I don't actually finish the project when I'm this close, that'd just be silly. I know it's been an hour, but come on. I mean, if you saw how much was left to do on my pattern keeper, you'd be saying the same thing to yourself. Like, come on, okay, I can't do those 3. I have to do these ones first or I'm liable to mess up. 791. Okay. I guess that's the kind of nice thing about not being a big channel. I'm not a big channel at all. I have a very, 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 very so small it's almost non-existent section of the internet, but simultaneously I can be weird and myself and kind of be free. And there's not a whole ton of... I mean, I do have certain standards and I do have a certain degree of like... You're on the internet type mentality. That's my mentality. But I can be a little bit goofy. It's okay. There's a lot weirder stuff out there on the internet, by golly. I'm pretty sure most of us are well aware of that. So it looks really strange when I'm looking at it up close. Not gonna lie. But this spot right here. Whoops, come down so I can point. This right here... That actually is open. There's actually not a stitch right there. And to me, that's kind of strange. Okay, there we go. Sometimes when I go to pull my loop back down through, it doesn't pull through. But in this particular case, I think we're going to be okay. And again, with these long threads, kind of get me a little bit. I kind of can't wait to go back to stitching on a scroll frame. I mean, my setup for my scroll frame is not the most optimal because I'm either further back and or I have, my hands are bumping up against the back of my desk once in a while. Not too often, but, yeah, but my stand, I did break down and spend the couple $100 that it typically takes for a good stand, or at least a floor stand type setup. And I did go ahead and order one. Of course, within 48 hours of me ordering it, I got in a conversation with another stitcher. Okay, so let's see here, because those 3 were already done? Question? I don't think that is correct at all, sir. So 1, 2. Oh, that one is already done. I hadn't marked it off. Okay, I see. So that one's done. That one's done. These 2 are done. Catching up with myself here. So those 2, these 3 are done. And then 2 here are done. And even though that's not quite the correct color because I had messed up when I had, I don't think anyone will really notice, to be honest. I'll notice, sure, but the person who's receiving this probably won't notice. Oh, it just occurred to me that D&D is tomorrow, and this is for my D&D player. So how appropriate that I wanted to stream. I've been wanting to do a Stitch with Me for like 3 days. And then I got home tonight and then it was this, that, and the other thing. And I thought, you know what? I don't have to stream tonight. And then I thought, no, I probably should, because I probably should just finish the darn thing. And then I thought, you know, it'll help me relax. It'll help me wind down. I'm way too high energy, way too high stress. Practically vibrating on the spot. I should do it. I should do this stream. It'll help me relax. And then I sit down and do it, and then it just dawned on me that, oh, this means I can literally hand it to my player tomorrow. Not fully finished, of course, but... Although, you know, I was planning on, you know, doing the whole thing, buying a frame, framing it, whatnot, and then giving it to her, but actually, she's a real crafty person herself. She may want to pick out her own frame. Nope, you aren't done yet. Okay, so we're gonna go here. We do have one more dude there. Okay, 2. Just gonna mark these off because if I don't, I'm gonna get myself in trouble. Oh, nope. See, I already got myself in trouble. Those 2 are also done. So this is actually not here. This is actually here. And then... like so. And then one down and one over. Gotta find just the right spot. Is that really the right spot? That's the right spot. Ow. I get so focused that I start like slowly leaning closer and closer and closer to the project, and you know, my shoulders get all hunched and I get all kind of pressed forward, and I gotta stop and remember to like, whoo, like stretch out the back and lean the shoulders back and not get so hunched. That's bad posture. It's bad for you. And I have a desk job, so I have way too much time being all crunched up. Excellent. Now it's just time for the cherry on top, really. Beep. 23. 23, right there. And if I remember correctly, this 823 was originally purchased and pulled for a Kingdom Hearts project that I actually fully abandoned. Like, fully abandoned. I wasn't that far into it, though. I had already done a bunch and then frogged and then restarted. I had already gone through that twice. So it was like on round 3, and I was sitting there one day and I just looked at the picture and I was, you know, like, I love the picture. I love the art because I love Kingdom Hearts. But the way that particular picture was done was excessively pixelated. And I just thought to myself, you know, I I just really don't like this version of this image. So I really want to do a Kingdom Hearts cross-stitch project, but I couldn't find the pattern that was kind of really the pattern I was looking for. And then fast forward like 10 years, and of course now I have flosscross.com. So I may revisit that concept. Well, shucks. That's it. By golly. By golly. I don't even know what to do with myself. A finish is so rare. And that's coming from a monogamous stitcher. I'm not truly a monogamous stitcher, like 100%. I mean, I technically have like one other project. Well, I sort of technically have two other projects. Three. I technically have three other projects. But one of them is a specialty challenge. It is my Stitch in Hand project. So I have determined that I will find one project. Oh, I gotta see that. I can't see anything there. Oh, there it is. It snaps in place. Good. So we're gonna zoom back out. There we go. There we go. Oh, by the way, little teacup needle minder. Teacup needle minder. Oh, with a redonkulously strong magnet. Having a hard time getting this like where I want it in terms of the camera. But yeah. I mean, can you see now why I could not use him? He's just too cute. And per my story mentioned in one other previous stream, he's pink. So when I was little, it's not so much my favorite color now, but when I was little, pink was like, I had me and my sister, and so there was two of everything in the house because, you know, siblings. And she got the blue stuff and I got the pink stuff because red was my favorite color and red was my thing. And oh my gosh, look at what the magnet, can you see that on camera? Can you see that circle right there? Oh my gosh, that magnet, it like kind of sort of crushed the stitches. Like they are literally pressed flat. That's something. Anyways, I'll give it a quick wash and stuff. Just a rinse. I won't do anything else but a small rinse because of I think this is hand dyed fabric, but I'm pretty sure a rinse won't hurt it. I think I may look into that before I actually do it. But I knew I needed to yeah. There she is. She is fully kitted. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, so now it's time for one more very important test. Now there's a chunk right here that's lifting because of the hoop, but there's one very important test that needs to happen. Because this piece right here, that little eye, that is not actually what the pattern calls for. I made that white spot up for a very special reason. Now, if I go over onto Pattern Keeper, it thinks I still have stitches left. So I'm going to go find out where that stitch is. I'm not actually missing a stitch way up there, am I? Oh my gosh, I am. Oh, technically speaking, there are missing stitches right up in here. I'll be... But you can't even tell. Like if I put it down like that and if we're just looking at it because it's up here where the hands are. I don't know. I may go back and do them later, but for all intents and purposes, it's finished. It's just the one stitch with the 1/1. All of the letters are 1/1. I don't know that it really shows as much as I was hoping it would. Like, does it show? kind of shows. When you hold it up under really, when you hold it up under the light and look at the texture in real life, it kind of shows. There. So. Let's see. Gaming room. All right, moment of truth. I think it'll be okay. Oh, it doesn't count my monitor's still on providing too much light. Okay, here we go. First of all, I'm gonna get this close to the light. Pull it up so you can see. Here we go. And I need it to... Here we go. Actually, I'm just gonna turn that off. And I'm gonna lay this down in exactly a certain spot so I know where it is, because I gotta turn this off. Okay, ready? I'm gonna turn this off too. Okay, ready? I have no idea if it's showing up on camera because my monitor is off. But it's glow in the dark. He's glow in the dark. The little eyeball glows. The little eyeball glows. Of course, some light's gonna come on as I turn my monitors back on because I gotta see. I don't know if that came through on camera at all, but the little eyeball glows. He glows in the dark. The little eyeball is actually glow-in-the-dark floss. That's my first time using glow-in-the-dark floss, so... But yeah. Da-da-da-da. So cool. Wow, that's exciting. Da-da-da-da. We have a finish. Oops. On this nice purple fabric. So, since I'm sitting here... This is the fabric that I'll be doing Artificer on. This is the fabric that my sister, oh, God bless her, I had started Artificer on 1/1 on this piece of fabric because it doesn't quite fully show up on camera, but this is a sort of forest green fabric. And the, there's my Google Drive. I need to bump, dump, and warp, and, okay, here we go. No. Sit. So Artificer is, oh, the ring. The glare. There we go. Okay, you can actually see my reflection in there. How about that? Oh, that's even better. Okay, I like that. So there's so this is Artificer. So you can see very brown gold kind of coloring. So if you can picture that kind of brown gold color on this kind of foresty dark green fabric, you could see how I would be very excited for that combo. Well, I did it. I started it in a 1/1 version that was still going to be the same size. This is the 2/2 version, so you can see how kind of fluffier it is, and it would look much more akin to the original artwork if it was 1/1. You can see, just picture how much more detail, especially in the little ball right here, the amount of detail doing 1/1 on that. This is the original artwork, by the way. If I can think of it, I'll try to backtrack and put the link in the description so that if anyone wanted to purchase their stickers, they could. It's like, oh shoot, I always space on the name. It's like Ruck's Tavern. I think Ruck's Tavern is the name. But I had gotten like yay far with it. I mean, I had a huge amount done. I had like this much done. And something happened, I don't know what, where I messed up. And it was enough to take, like, I had gotten this much done, and the mess up was, like, in here somewhere. And so this whole piece of fabric was, or project, was, like, kind of, like, to this piece. Like, they literally, they were, like, they were off, like, whole halves of it were somehow off. And it was, I spent hours going over the pattern, going over the project, going over the pattern, going over the project, and trying to figure out where the mess up was, what I could do, how to fix it. And finally I gave in, and then I started frogging it. And to anyone who's ever tried to frog 1/1, and this is 28 count, to anyone who's tried to frog 1/1, you probably are shaking your head and or laughing at me. But yes, I attempted to 1/1 frog a section that was like huge. It was like this big. And I couldn't do it. I was almost in tears of how frustrated I was, because this is hand-dyed fabric, and I knew perfectly well that I would never find, not without tons and tons of shopping, I would never find like this exact, like perfect shade of like green, not green. So my sister, bless her heart, she took the fabric for me, and for several weeks here, there, she, you know, as you can see, she frogged the whole project. I mean, she saved this project. She saved this whole project. Now, she did say you can in fact see where the original was. If I can flatten it just a bit. Yep, you can kind of see where the original stitching was, and there is a cut thread in here somewhere. I can't quite exactly fully find it per se, but I know that there's like a cut thread basically in here somewhere. So I will probably have to repair it. I'm gonna get some advice from that. I'm gonna see if I can get some help from Karen. She offered to help me because she's a phenomenal person, and she has a video that is a tutorial on how to repair fabric. So if you're in the same boat I am where you need to do that, check out her video on how to repair fabric. So that's not the one well, actually, I have the fabric back now. I could do Artificer. You see, here's the thing. Artificer, I thought I couldn't do it, but I was doing the 1/1. So Artificer is already kitted. I don't have to kit it. Yay! The other with this insert the Whip Parade 2024 that I didn't think I'd be doing, but here we are. I told myself that I was going to stitch in hand sewing method, because I keep seeing other stitchers do it, and I want to. It's so tempting. I want to. And so I decided to do it, and I found a pattern that I figured would be kind of foolproof. And this one's actually in here, so I can view mockup. It's sort of in here. It's not quite in here correctly. It doubled itself for some reason. It did it twice, but so there it is. So it is all the D&D dice in, you know, a sword. And so I figured a pattern that simple could be, I could do that stitch in hand. And I told myself I would do the whole project sewing method stitch in hand. I would not get frustrated midway through or anything like that. I would keep going, because I know that when you're trying to do like a new method, it can get frustrating, and then it's really tempting to stop. But if I kept going and got past that, then maybe I would find a new method that I really, really enjoy. But you have to really give it the good old college try before you can say, nope, this method isn't for me. So I promised myself I'd do the whole thing. And I had this spare leftover piece of fabric that was kind of, you know, really small. Needless to say, this is how much I got done in the first 2 days. That was probably 6 months ago. Haven't picked it up since. Don't know if I want to. Not super fond of the sewing method, but it's technically a whip. I'll have the other fabrics in here. So I think I was planning on doing Rogue next. I just assumed that I was going to do Rogue next. That was always the going plan, because I didn't have this fabric back. So there's Rogue. So that's what I was going to do next. But my sister fast-tracked this and got this back to me. So I think I can finally do it. I think I can finally return. I think I can finally do... Oh, I even like touching it. Oh, it's so soft. I probably shouldn't, but it's so soft. But I'm already kitted and ready to go. I guess I'm doing Artificer next. But yeah, the only other whip that I have is Zelda map, which I don't actually have with me. And then I have my Mirabilia, which is sitting right here. This is actually not the last time you saw my Mirabilia. I had not done any of this middle bit, and this bit was done. But after I did that stream, I found a mistake, and so I had to frog the entire, like, all of this dark pink bit right here. And yeah, that was no fun. But I had to frog it all, and I had to redo it, but that's okay. I even had to redo some of this down here, too. Like, I had to redo quite a bit. My brand new needle minder, I just got him. He's a Spyro Dragon. Spyro Dragon. But yeah, that's Mirabilia, which will probably be getting the most love. The D&D Smalls, these guys are my in-hand, hoop in hand, one-handed. I take them to work with me and I work on them on my lunch. I can hold the hoop in one hand and then I can stitch in the other hand. But they're convenient for doing the stitch with me's. But in general, I don't know that I'll really do a stitch with me on this one. I might once in a while, but in general, it's just a couch project to have sitting on to the side or at work to work on. The main one that I'm going to be focusing on for any stitch with me type stuff is going to be that Mirabilia. So, wow, I got to finish. Thanks so much for watching. For real though, for everyone who tunes in and for all of the people who are subscribed to me on YouTube, big thank yous for being supportive and you know, going over and subscribing. You didn't have to. I was super nervous about doing the whole YouTube thing, but now I'm really enjoying it. But I'm super glad that you guys are here. It actually has really fundamentally changed my life, despite how small the channel is, the fact that I have one. And there's been a lot of learning curves. Yeah, in general, it's been already it's been a journey, but I appreciate every single person who even spends 2 seconds popping into the video. I still appreciate you all. So thank you so much. And I will catch you guys